Всем привет, дорогие друзья, меня зовут Алексей, я продолжаю прохождение Fallout 4. Защищать и служить. Да, защищай и служи. И вот, в общем говоря, мы поняли, как добраться до института. Мне нужно построить чудо-штуку, которая мне поможет добраться до института. То есть сигнал, который поможет мне переловить или как-то, не знаю, называться. Поэтому нужно попросить помощи. А для этого... Ой, радиация, это плохо. Для этого давайте тогда уберемся. Это что у нас такое? О, давайте лучше их попросим о помощи. Что это? А. Минитами или как их там? Кого еще нам просить? Некого больше. Больше никто нам не поможет, только мы сами. Только мы сами сможем себе помочь. Всегда реактивная загрузка. Так. Так. Окей, а где этот-то? А, вот он вроде бы. Блин, он там сидит. Или это бабка? Тут же бабка вроде сидела. А, нет, бабка вот туда. Вот он.
What do you need, General?
I need help. We need to build a device that can get me inside the Institute.
The Institute? Why in the world would you want to mess around with them?
У них сон.
Can you help me or not?
We'll give you whatever help we can. Don't worry about that. Now, assuming you could build this thing, what exactly does it do?
The Institute uses teleportation to get in and out. This machine can hijack their signal and send me instead.
Teleportation? For real? Wow. That would explain a lot about how the Institute manages to operate. If anyone can make heads or tails of those plans, it'd be Sturgis. I haven't found anything yet that he couldn't build or fix.
Ага, все окей. Так, Студжес, где ты? Где ты, чувак? Вот он ходит. Ну, здорово.
What's going on?
Preston thought you might be able to figure out these plans for me.
Sure thing. Let's see what you've got.
Here you go.
Wow, what a mess. Looks like encrypted RF transmissions. Okay, so that gets routed through... What the hell? Teleportation. This is some pretty crazy shit.
Да,
You sure it's for real?
уверен.
I wouldn't be wasting your time if I didn't think it was real.
Okay. But you gotta admit, it isn't every day somebody asks me to build them a teleport hijacker. Anyway, the eggheads never think about the nuts and bolts of actually making something work. But, looks like it's all here. Yeah, I'm gonna need some time to study this thing. The handwriting's pretty hard to make out. But, you can get started on what he calls a stabilized reflector platform. It'll need some pretty high-grade metals, but it's basically not that different than the lining of a jet engine or something like that.
Can you give me a list of what I'll need to build this platform?
Yeah, sure. Here's a list of what you'll need for the first piece. I'm pretty sure we've got all that at Sanctuary, if you want to build it there. While you're working on that, I'll get busy figuring out how to actually build the rest of this thing. Keep in mind,
Окей.
I can already see this is going to take a crazy amount of juice. Like if you had a spare nuclear reactor handy, we could probably use it. And it's going to be big. So find a nice open building site with lots of power available.
Ясно. Давай будем делать. Особое. Так, ну видно, да, сразу. Ну вот вроде бы есть место. Блин, чё в смысле? Чё за бред? Так, где этот? Вот он. Ага, конечно, говорит, нужно изучить чертежи, блин, ходит, бродит опять так же.
How's it going? Did you find a good spot to build your signal interceptor?
Yeah. Ready to build the rest of it.
Good. I think I got a handle on this crazy contraption. At least as much as I can tell. Until we actually try to build it, here's a list of 3 things that may be harder to find. I think I'll be able to pull together everything else we're gonna need. I'll meet you over at the building site and see if we can actually make this thing work.
Thanks, Sturgis. I'll get right on this.
Биометрический сканер. Блин, у меня столько этого говна было.
It all needs to be wired together so all the pieces can talk to each other. I'll see you over at the building site. Good luck.
Так, что тут?
This isn't gonna do anything without power.
Так. Необходимо 20. Военная электросхема, биометрический сканер. О, вот это у меня есть. Так, я помню, это у моего пса было. Окей, где мой пес? Сука, где мой пес? Ай, куда же он мог деться-то? Бляха-муха, где мой пес? У меня же пес должен быть, да? Может быть, в моем доме. Но это не мой дом, кажется, или мой. Нет, не мой. Я не помню, я в пса все уложил вроде бы. Где пса-то найти? Так. Может где-то его посмотреть, я не знаю. Так, что за говно? Так, раздобыть на военной базе. Да нет, у меня это все было, блин, столько находил. Так. Сраный телефон глючит. Хотел посмотреть, где пес находится. Блин, я в этого пса все запихал. Сейчас, минутку, пожалуйста. Ну все, я нашел, короче, песика. Вот он. В смысле? Вот. Вот он, биометрический сканер, ё-моё. И военная электросхема. Я же говорю, у меня все есть. Уа-ха-ха! Не зря, блин. Я отдал все этой песику. Ух ты ж, хорошо вообще как, а? Да, быстрое сохранение пойдет. Все, у меня все есть для того, чтобы сделать. Блин, еле-еле нашел. Так, и теперь нужно построить, да, особые. Вот эту вот штуку. Не. И вот эту. Куда ее поставить? Типа вот так вот, да? Включить перехватчик сигнала. Так, давай включаем.
This isn't gonna do anything without power.
А, твою мать. Твою мать. Где у меня? Средний генератор. Можно еще тогда поставить один. Так, оборона, питание, генераторы. Алюминия нету. Так. А где алюминий взять? Ну давай. Не, надо все-таки алюминий взять, наверное, побольше. Что, все равно не хватает, что ли? А, так нахрен я их убрал, то надо. Точно, надо его. Куда я их поставил-то? Вот дурак, что-то я херню какую-то страдаю. Так, мне нужно как-то от них протянуть. Так, а от этой штуки есть? Так, необходимо 20, значит необходимо несколько генераторов. Так, значит еще один, наверное. Давай еще попробуем. О, заработало. Вы ж прикиньте. Офигеть. Ну давай.
To make sure this is on the same grid as the rest of the signal interceptor. To make sure this is on the same grid as the rest of the signal interceptor.
Да. Так пойдет.
Seems to be working.
О, теперь подключил к той же самой сети. Супер. Получилось, ребята, получилось.
Everything looks good on my end. You ready to see if this thing actually works?
Давай
Let's do
приступим.
this.
You sure? Okay. Your part is simple. Just step onto the platform. I'll start scanning for an institute signal to lock onto. Then, I fire her up and we see what happens. I'm ready when you are.
Я встал. Только не совсем нормально встал. Обалдеть. Ну, оно хоть чертежи мне дали.
Okay, hold real still. I don't want any corruption of the molecular beam. Oh yeah, by the way, I figured this was a golden opportunity to find out as much as we can about the Institute and what they're up to. Yeah, this holotape's all set with a program that will scan their network and download anything it finds. Uh-oh. Yeah, we better hurry. And don't worry about that tubing wiggling around. It's, just there for decoration.
Ты уверен?
Scanning for the Institute signal. Tracking RF. And... got it. Hold on to your butt.
Ух ты ж. Чё, получилось, что ли? Обалдеть, я в институте. Так, давайте посмотрим. Ага, сигнал перенаправлен. А что мне нужно делать? Что-то не пойму, ну-ка. А, вставить с вирусом. А, так вот. А как мне, если что, обратно отправиться? Хм. Ну ладно, больше мне может не понравиться. Что?
I wondered if you might make it here. You're quite resourceful. I'm known as Father. The Institute is under my guidance.
А да? Ну супер.
I know why you're here. I'd like to discuss things with you face to face. Please, step into the elevator.
Ну давай. Нифига себе, ну здесь как-то выглядит все так современненько.
I can only imagine what you've heard, what you think of us. I'd like to show you that you may have the wrong impression.
Все возможно.
Welcome to the Institute. This is the reality of the Institute. This place, these people, the work we do. For over 100 years, we've dedicated ourselves to
Ты уверен?
humanity's survival. Decades of research, countless experiments and trials, a shared vision of how science can help shape the future. It has never been easy, and our actions are often misinterpreted by those above ground. Someday, perhaps, we can show them what we've accomplished. But for now, we must remain underground. There's too much at stake here to risk it all. As you've seen, things above are unstable.
Тут камеры везде
I'd
напиханы.
like to talk to you about what we can do for everyone. But that can wait. You are here for a specific, very personal reason. You are here for your son.
Да. А это чё? Это сына? Давайте хоть что-нибудь возьмем отсюда.
Would need the key. Useless. Can't pick this.
Что мне делать?
Only opens with a key. Sean?
Huh? Yes, I'm Sean.
Шон?
Sean? Oh my god. It's really you.
Who are you?
Sean.
Father, what's going
It's
on?
me.
What's happening?
I'm your dad. Yes, it's me. Your dad. I'm here, Sean.
What's going on? Father? Father!
Sean, open the door.
I don't know you. Go away. Father! Father, help me! There's someone here. Help me!
Sean,
В
please.
смысле? Что
Calm
такое?
down. I'll get you out of there.
Father? Father, help me! He's trying to take me! Father? Father, help me!
Sean. S923, recall code Cirrus. Fascinating, but disappointing. The child's responses were not at all what I anticipated. He's a prototype, you understand. We're only just now beginning to explore the effects of extreme emotional stimuli.
Чего?
Please try and keep an open mind. I recognize that you are emotional, and that your journey here has been fraught with challenges. Let's start anew. I am Father. Welcome to the Institute.
Father? That's your name? Your title?
Father is my unofficial title. It's what I've come to mean to the people of the Institute, just as you mean to your son, to Sean.
I'll make this very simple. Where is my son?
He's here, in the Institute. Closer than you think. But I need you to realize that this situation is far more complicated than you could have imagined. You have traveled very far, and suffered a great deal to find your son. Well, your tenacity and dedication have been... It's good to finally meet you, after all this time.
Где сын?
I am Sean. I am your son.
В смысле?
Oh, come on. That's crazy.
I assure you, I am completely sane and entirely honest. In the vault, you had no concept of the passage of time. You were released from your pod and went searching for the son you'd lost. But then you learned that your son was no longer an infant. but a 10-year-old boy. You believe that 10 years had passed. Is it really so hard to accept that it was not 10, but 60 years? That is the reality, and here I am, raised by the Institute, and now its leader.
They stole you, kidnapped you. Wasn't right.
Right, wrong, irrelevant. It was necessary. The Institute believed humanity's future depended on it. At that time, the year 2227, the Institute had made great strides in synth production. But it was never enough. Scientific curiosity and the goal of perfection drove them ever onward. What they wanted was the perfect machine. So they followed the best example thus far. The human being. Walking, talking, fully articulate, capable of anything.
Так я и думаю, что-то он на меня похож, блин, этот чувак-то.
So the weird science experiments needed specimens. That's why they took you.
In a manner of speaking. Yes. The Institute endeavored to create synthetic organics. The most logical starting point, of course, was human DNA. Plenty of that was available, of course. But it had all become corrupted. In this wasteland, radiation affected everyone. Even in their attempts to shield themselves from the world above, members of the Institute had been exposed. Another source was necessary.
Никакой.
Then the Institute found me, after discovering records from Vault 111. An infant, frozen in time, protected from the radiation-induced mutations that had crept into every other human cell in the Commonwealth. I was exactly what they needed. And so it was my DNA that became the basis of the synthetic organics used to create every human-like synth you see today. I am their father. Through science, we are family. The synths, me, and you.
And you've been down here the whole time?
I have. Yes. I know you must have questions. Please. Anything I can do to help you understand.
Kellogg. He worked for you?
Kellogg. He was an Institute asset long before I arrived here. It wasn't until I became director that I learned of all the things he'd done. What kind of man he was.
You knew the man was a psychopath, but you used him anyway?
I don't expect you to understand or agree with the decision. The Institute took advantage of Kellogg's vicious nature. I will freely admit that. Institute technology prolonged his life and his usefulness far beyond.
А, так вот почему он тоже не постарел.
He never failed the Institute, but his cruelty became more apparent with every completed objective.
Да какая-то несостыковка.
It's no coincidence your path crossed his. It seemed a fitting way to allow you, us, to have some amount of revenge. What else can I say to ease your mind?
Your mother. She never got to see you grow up?
Yes. What happened to her was... I've gone over the records of the incident, of course. It seems her death was an unfortunate bit of collateral damage.
Collateral damage? She was murdered.
Killed? Yes. Murdered? I'm not so sure about that. Still, I do regret never having known her. For many years, I never questioned who my parents were. I accepted my situation, and that was that. With old age comes regret. and asking what if more often. But what matters now is that you and I have a chance to begin again. What else can I say to ease your mind?
So you're in charge of the Institute?
I am the acting director, yes. I spent decades working to reach this point. It's a responsibility I take very seriously. The Institute. It's important. It really is humanity's best hope for the future, no matter what those above ground might think of us.
They're scared of you, Sean. Scared of the Institute.
People are always frightened by what they don't understand. Ultimately, the Commonwealth has nothing to fear from us.
Капец, я моложе отца, блин.
I know I can convince you of that. Just give me time. I know there's more for us to discuss. But the Institute is on the verge of some important breakthroughs. Your presence would be appreciated as we approach them. I've been a part of something amazing here. I've helped to build a life for myself and the people of the Institute. And now, after all these years, you have an opportunity to help with that. Doesn't that intrigue you?
Maybe. I don't know.
I know. And I am sorry. The Institute
Да-да-да.
can provide a better... You've been in the Commonwealth. You've seen what it's... I realize that. I hope that you can see that rationally. The Institute... I simply ask that you give the Institute, me, a chance. We really do have humanity. Will you take... Just. The Institute is now your home, as much as it is mine. You'll want to introduce yourself to the division heads. Dr. Fillmore in facility. And finally...
Понятно. Так это Шон или это Синт? Это Шон. Нет, вот Шон. Да ты врешь. Давайте сделаем так, короче. Так, теперь посмотрим на себя. Стой. Стой. Да вроде похож. Ладно, ребят, на этом закончим. Всем спасибо, что посмотрели. Подписывайтесь на канал, ставьте лайки, комментируйте. Мы в институте. И что нам тут делать? Хрен знает. Ладно, всем спасибо, всем пока.